Well, Carrie, it's official. Jim Jordan got 200 votes, but as was not too hard to predict, the 18 members of the Republican caucus who were in Biden districts, people like Don Bacon, Mike Lawler, I don't think a single one of them voted for him. And I have to say, the fact that Jim Jordan is even being considered as Speaker of the House shows you, in general, the state of our political system, but just what an awful state the Republican Party is in. But I would love to hear your thoughts on, A, Mr. Jordan, but also the dysfunction in the House, what it says about the party, and where do we go from here?
Well, yeah, lots of thoughts. I think in some respects, if Jim Jordan is able to pull through, it'll be a feat of nature. We'll see. But I think the fact that he is the front runner right now is very telling as far as the state of the anger about the spending and the anger about not holding the line against Biden. That was the impulse that got Kevin McCarthy out. That being said, I agree with, we've said this over and over, Dave, that spending and overspending is a bipartisan failure. And when Republicans did control both the houses of Congress, they certainly did not hold the line. And so it's kind of, hypocritical that yes, better late than never. But at the same time, it kind of falls on deaf ears as far as feeling sympathy for holding the line on spending. And then in terms of, the Democrats, if Jim Jordan is successful somehow, I think it's sort of karma for the Democrats, because I do blame them for deposing Kevin McCarthy, because Kevin McCarthy did the bipartisan thing, as we talked about in our previous episode, where he reached across the aisle, he prevented a shutdown, and then he fell on his sword because those same Democrats who reached across the aisle weren't willing to actually put their money where their mouth was when it came to actually supporting their previous vote. And I live here in Virginia in Don Byers' district, and he's one of those Democrats who voted with McCarthy on the spending, and then he voted against him to depose him as Speaker. So I hold Democrats equally, if not more, responsible for this failure of bipartisanship, including my congressman. And I sent a note to their office, very disappointed. So it's a pox on both houses, especially right now with Israel the way it is. And I do think it is good to see, I guess some Democrats are saying they want to try to expand the powers for Patrick McHenry, who's the acting Speaker. It'll be interesting to see if someone like him could maybe cobble together enough of a Republican coalition to pull over a few Democrats to get a Speaker who's more like him. That's the other scenario if Jim Jordan's not going to get over the finish line. But what's your take, Dave?
Well, first of all, I think what did Kevin McCarthy in more than anything was that he set up a situation where he was ruling by fear, not strength. In other words, it just took one vote to get him out. And whomever is chosen as Speaker, we have to get rid of this one vote for a motion to vacate. It's just you cannot govern under those situations, because the Matt Gaetzes of the world are not interested in governing. They're not interested in getting anything done. They're interested in clicks and raising small donors and likes and Fox News appearances. Secondly, Democrats and any political party would always say, if your competition is digging a grave, don't take away their shovel. And also, Kevin McCarthy, two things that really, I think, was a thumb in the eye for Democrats. First of all, yes, he did vote bipartisanly. I give him credit. He got the debt deal done. I don't think Jim Jordan would have gotten that done. He also prevented the government from shutting down. But those are basic functions of a Speaker. But he always was dissing Democrats. He never reached out off of camera. And also, you have to remember, there is no one who is a greater enabler of Donald Trump than Kevin McCarthy. After January 6th, the party had a real chance. They had their best off-ramp ever opportunity, right? But Kevin McCarthy went down to Mar-a-Lago, kissed the ring, and game on again. So I talked to a lot of Democrats, and those two issues by themselves made it very hard for them to support him. Having said that, Jim Jordan is, yes, he's like a pea in a pod with Steve Scalise in the sense that they're both election deniers and they're both Trump accomplices and they're both let's skewer the libs. But Jim Jordan's in a class by himself in terms of being a seditionist, in terms of being in on the plot with January 6th, in terms of denying subpoenas, in terms of, being right up there with Sidney Powell and Mr. Pillow and Rudy Giuliani, the nuttiest of the nut jobs of the conspiracy guys. And the Speaker of the House should be a deal maker. He should not be an ideologue. So I think hopefully someone better will come on. But right now, it's a real bleep show, and it shows the incredible dysfunction of the Republican Party. And I don't see how they can hold the House right now. So we will have to see what happens. But I will give you the last word.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we're pragmatists. We want a government that works. We need a government that is fiscally sustainable. We need a government that can respond to catastrophe like in the Middle East. And we just heard word that Azerbaijan might invade Armenia, and we're getting distracted from China and Taiwan and Russia and Ukraine, and the fact that Russia was behind the scenes likely directing a lot and supporting Iran behind this Hamas attack and Hezbollah. We can't be distracted. And I do think what's happening in the House is a distraction. And so I'm hoping we can have some leadership, Dave, but we'll see.
I agree. Well, you and I end on that positive, some would say quixotic hope. On that note, we will say farewell again. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Practically Political. It's always good having you. I'm Dave Spencer.
And I'm Carrie Sheffield. We'll catch you on the next time.